too. Okay. So this is Walter and the farting dog. Okay. Betty and Billy brought Walter home from the school pound. Nobody wanted him, said Billy. But we love him, said Betty. Ooh, well, he smells awful, said their mother. I think you'd better give him a bath. Mother walked in and said, he still smells awful, and that's when they got their first clue. The telltale bubbles in the water. Don't tell me nobody's ever done that before. We all can relate to that, right? Okay. He's probably just a little nervous, said Mother hopefully. His stomach might be upset. But Walter's stomach wasn't upset. His stomach was fine. He felt perfectly normal. He just farted a lot. He did it when he bathed. He did it when he played with Betty and Billy. He did it when he walked across the house. He did it in the dining room. He did it in the kitchen. And he did it in his sleep. Does anybody have a dog who farts in their sleep? Okay. That dog farts morning, noon, and night, said Father. He can't help it, Daddy, said Billy and Betty. They didn't mind Walter's farts. So what if he farts, Billy said to Betty when they were alone in the room with Walter. Betty agreed. Walter agreed too. He sat there looking innocently around, farting. Take him to the vet, said Father. Farting, said the vet, or rectal flatulence, as we say in the medical profession, and prescribed a change in diet. They gave Walter every kind of dog food. He farted. They tried him on cat food. They gave him hot dogs, hamburgers, and lettuce and tomato sandwiches. They gave him fried chicken. They gave him rabbit food. They made him a vegetarian. No matter what that dog eats, he turns it into farts, roared Father. Walter got the blame for everybody else's farts, too. If Uncle Irv let one slip, he just went and stood near Walter. And then all he had to say was, Walter! And everyone would look at poor Walter. Have you guys ever had an uncle or somebody that blames them on the dog? Okay. He has to go back to the pound, said Father. No, Daddy, please, begged Betty and Billy. Don't send Walter away. He goes tomorrow, said Father. They pleaded, and Walter farted. It was all over. That night, Betty and Billy cried in their beds, and Walter looked at them unhappily. Oh, Walter, said Betty, you've got to stop farting, because Father is going to send you back to the pound tomorrow, said Billy. Walter knew how serious the situation was. He'd never see Betty and Billy again. He resolved to hold in his farts forever. When Betty and Billy fell asleep, he walked down to the kitchen to see if there was anything around to eat. He managed to open the cupboard door with his nose and found that the 25-pound bag of low-fart dog biscuits the vet had prescribed for him, which had made him fart more. Even though he knew they made him fart more, he couldn't resist. He ate the entire bag. Very tasty, said Walter to himself. And then he went and lay down on the sofa. A gigantic gas bubble began to build inside him. This is going to be trouble, he said to himself nervously. He was afraid of what might happen if he let it go. He thought maybe the house would explode, so he kept it in. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was torture. But he had resolved never to fart again. His future depended on it. As he lay there with his tail wrapped tightly between his legs, he heard a noise at the window. Can anybody relate to this one? Don't tell on yourselves. But you know, everybody's experienced this, right? Okay. He watched it slowly open. A pair of burglars came through. They dropped silently into the kitchen. "Watch out for the dog," said one of the burglars. "He won't bite," said the other. "He's a wimp." Walter might have bitten them, except he was so filled with gas he couldn't move. They tied a rag around his snout so he couldn't bark. "Okay," whispered the first burglar, "let's clear the place out." They took everything they could get their hands on. Walter wanted to stop them, but he was having unbearable gas pains. He rolled on his back and waved his paws in the air. He gnashed his teeth. "We've got it all," said the second burglar. "Let's go." That's when Walter let it fly. It was the worst fart of his life. It made a tremendous noise and shot him across the room. A hideous cloud filled the air. The burglars clutched their throats, unable to breathe. With tears in their eyes, they raced for the window. They tried to grab their bag with all their valuables in it, but their arms were too weak. "Let's get out of here." They jumped out the window and ran up the block, choking and gasping for air. Still blinded by Walter's attack, they stepped into the headlights of an approaching police car. "Hold it right there," said the policeman. When father and mother came down in the morning, they found the open window and they saw the bag with their valuables in it, and Walter was sitting beside it. He still had the rag tied around his snout. You'd have to say he looked heroic. "He saved the silverware," cried Mother. "He saved the VCR," cried Father. "Good dog, Walter. You're our dog, even if you do fart all the time." And so the family learned to live with Walter, the hero dog. And that's the end of our tale.
He's still farting.
So look what they're doing here.
What are they doing?
They're making use of it.
Oh.
They're using the energy to run an amusement park. Okay. All right, good. Go ahead and slide back to your seats for me.
That's a good show.
You like that story?
Yeah. Whoa.
Okay. So you should have this "Dear Miss Keene" written on in your notebook.
What is that? Hi, guy.
Okay, go ahead and write "Dear Miss Keene." This is a response journal example. You're going to be doing these periodically, so make sure you have a clean page. Start a whole new clean page. Flip for me, Aaliyah. I want the date here. Response journal example. Okay. And then "Dear Miss Keene" should be all the way here on the pink line. This is the pink line. Okay? We're doing a friendly letter. Okay? All right. You're always going to start out telling me what book you are currently reading. So you're going to say, "Dear Miss Keene, you're going to skip a line here. I am currently reading and you're going to tell me the name of the book. Okay, so we're going to, we'll fill in the blank, we'll leave it blank like this so that you know, and it should be in quotation marks. It's a title. Okay? So I'm going to put in "Walter and the Farting Dog." You guys can do that too if you want to, okay? Just so you see the example.
I got a question.
Yes.
Why does it say Walter and the Farting Dog? Why doesn't it say Walter and the Farting Dog?
Maybe because it's the family. I don't know. It's the author's choice to do that. I'll put Walter the Farting Dog, okay? Okay, now Walter the Farting Dog is written by, so you're going to put the author. Okay, so let me grab the book. William Coswinkle. So you're going to fill that in. you guys a second to get caught up with me. Make sure you have a comma here because you're continuing your sentence. Okay. Next you're going to say, I have made several connections. You're kind of segueing into what you're getting ready to do. How do we spell several? That was one of our words, right, yesterday? E-R-A-L, right? Good. Okay, connections. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about two connections. There's a text to self connection. Go ahead and grab a drink, okay? You can say, my text to self connection is. Now, I'm just going to tell you my text to self connection. I want you guys to write your own, okay? So, I do have a dog named Frankie that when I'm laying in bed, she likes to sleep on my floor, right? When I'm sleeping, she likes to sleep on my floor. Now, I'll be laying there, and all of a sudden, this horrible smell starts filling my bedroom. And I'm like, Frankie, what are you doing? It's like the worst smell ever. So I have had a similar experience. That's what that means, text to self. It means I've had a similar experience as Walter, the farting dog. Because I have a dog who also farts, okay? And it's a horrible smell. She doesn't do it any other time. It's only when she's laying down in my room, right at the foot of my bed, okay? So I'm going to fill that in. I'm going to say, I have a dog. You guys can copy this. Let me put this in a different color for you so it's fill in the blank. Dog named Frankie.
I had a dog.
Yes. Who every night lies at the foot of my bed. When I go to sleep, when I'm going to sleep. After a while, a terrible smell. I mean, it's horrible. Hits me. And she only does it at nighttime.
I had a dog named Matt.
Yes.
And I came home from horseback riding, and he was like a big old, I can't really say what a dog was. He had like, he was really tall, and it looked like he had a freckle right there.
Aw. Was it a farting issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I crashed on the couch, and he came up next to me, and he always has his butt in the air.
Yeah.
And my aunt snapped a few pictures, and he started farting. It was funny.
Okay, so do you guys see that everybody can make a connection to this? Everybody has a little brother or sister who's maybe farted in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Everybody has an uncle or your dad or grandpa farts and blames it on the dog or the cat or a little brother or sister or something, right? Blames it on your mom. Everybody's had a situation similar to this. You've experienced it. So your text to self, I want you to circle that word self, is about you. How do you relate to this book? And every time you're reading now your book, you should be thinking in those terms. When we read Anansi about, the spider, You should be thinking, have I ever been told a folk tale by my parents? Or have I ever had a situation where my friend was lying, trying to impress friends? Or I knew somebody who was lying to try to impress friends? Okay? Alright, let's finish this up. You're going to say, next, you're going to say my text-to-text connection circle that word text. Text to text. Book to book. Okay? So you're going to try to think of a book. Let me think of one. Let's see here. Okay. I remember when I was in elementary school, I read the book called Ribsy. It's about this like scruffy kind of dog that gets into a lot of trouble and stuff like that. But he's a lovable dog. Like his Beezus and Ramona, his owners, love him. The two sisters, they love this dog, even though he gets in and has problems. So it kind of reminded me of this book because they're both, Walter and Ribsy are similar. Okay? So you're going to do that. Is when I read Ribsy, let's see if I can get this to go down for me. I'm just going to have to keep going, okay? I'm going to do it over here because I don't know what's going on, but we'll just work it out. Okay. It's when I read, keep going with me here, Ribsy, written by Beverly Cleary. Ribsy and Walter remind me of each other because they are both well loved but have a lot of problems. They get into trouble. Okay, good. There's my text to text. All right. Now finally, we're going to say, I wonder. You're going to give me an I wonder statement. We're doing two connections and an I wonder statement. Okay? I wonder. And I'm going to ask a question about this book. So maybe it's something in the future you wonder about. So I wonder if Walter continues to have a farting problem or if the family finds a way to fix the problem. Okay, good. Then you're going to skip a line and you're going to write sincerely, comma, and then you're going to put your name. This is all on the pink line still. So there are no indents here. These are all right on the pink line. Okay?
My arm just hurting now.
Now, Mackenzie did one thing for me that I forgot to show you guys, and I'm glad she did it to remind me. Go ahead and put your indent right here. I forgot to do that, just to remind yourself.
I did that.
You did it too, Samaya?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you guys did that when I overlooked it. Okay? So starting next week, either Monday or Tuesday, Samaya, you guys are going to have to take the book you're currently reading and do this. We're going to do it on It's Learning.
What if I'm not done?
No, you shouldn't be done. You should be in the middle of the book. You know, that's fine. You can read page number 1 where they get this dog that has a farting problem, farting in the bathtub, and immediately your brain's going, oh, my little brother farts in the bathtub all the time. I've seen those bubbles in the tub, okay? So you don't have to read through the whole story to be able to do one of these. It's just wherever you are, you should be thinking about what's my text to self, what's my text to text, and then what's my I wonder statement, okay? You guys got it?
I'll tell you a story about my dog.
Is it about a farting dog? Okay, good, go, I want to hear it.
Okay, so I was sitting on my bed, she jumped on my bed, and like, I heard like a little sound.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, cuddle, she was like, oh.
Did the dog try to act like she didn't do it? Just like Uncle Irv in the story, right? So Samaya, that would be your text to self connection. You would tell that story and make that connection. Good. Good example. All right. Go ahead and clean up for me. You guys did a great job today.
I'm gonna start doing.
Taking a picture.
I'm just videoing it so we can see what it looks like. Okay, we're good.